directly. And so we're going to be using that, whether California, Oregon, Massachusetts, Colorado, Alaska, Arkansas, we'll be using that vehicle to get the people to make the decision, or ask the people to make the decision, should an investigation go forward, should we create a new commission. Now, to do that, Alex, the rub is will we be able to raise the monies? Nobody in the leadership role here is well endowed financially, but will we be able to raise the contributions from ordinary citizens, maybe a few angels, to get this undertaking on its way and get the information to the American people as to what they can do.
Senator Gravel, stay there. Let's come back and talk about the new initiative in detail. Stay with us. Former U.S. Senator Mike Gravel, presidential candidate, is our guest. Unfortunately, I only have one more segment with him, but I look forward to having him up for a full hour in the near future as this initiative launches. So, codify exactly the new site, when it's launching, what you plan to do with this new initiative.
First off, the site is 9-11 or just 911cc.org, and CC stands for the Campaign Committee. And now, what the initiative does, it permits people to be able to vote for or against creating a new commission that will be appointed by the board of directors of the campaign committee, and that commission or that language will set up a transfer of the political jurisdiction in questions power, grand jury powers, to be able to subpoena, to be able to put people under oath, and to be able to provide a report of indictment that would be turned over to the jurisdiction in question. Now, once we can get this initiative enacted into a single state or a number of states on a parallel fashion, then other states will be able to, by initiative or by law of their legislative bodies, join this commission and add their jurisdiction, their grand jury powered jurisdiction to the commission. And so if we start, let's say, with Oregon, Alaska, and then Massachusetts, and then California can tie into, you got to look upon it as we're creating a bucket of powers, grand jury powers, and other states can decide to jump in and be part of that body of powers. And not only states, but local jurisdictions that have initiative powers, like New York City and over 50 in the state of Texas, where they can, by law, either legislative by the people with initiatives, or their governments can choose to just join the effort. And as people across the country realize what this commission can do, there will be a lot of effort, a lot of political power pushing legislators to join in this investigation. And so it's a de facto national initiative that we're creating by filing it in various states. Now, the success of being able to do this is all dependent upon, can we raise the money from ordinary citizens who put up $10, $20, $100 that will permit us to fund this undertaking. And the funding of the commission itself can come from the various jurisdictions across the country.
Well, I mean, explain this to me, because I think it's a good idea to have investigations and have grand juries be contacted, or have state commissions or even city commissions, because if a city lost any of its citizens, it can do it. New York obviously would be the ideal place. That's been tried. They got the signatures, but it was blocked, even though the law said they should have done it. But, I mean, what about an initiative just to get it on referendums in states, to have a state have a commission? I mean, in law, because I know you're a former U.S. Senator, you know a lot, so explain it to me. How are you going to get states to say, yes, we're now going, pass this resolution, now we're going to bring in this, this commission, that you guys have created? Or is your commission more of an advisory movement to get the state to set up its own commission?
No, God, no, it's not an advisory. This is real. What we do is by passing an initiative in any one state, let's say we pass it in Oregon where it takes less than 100,000 people to vote for it. If the people vote to create this commission, any other states, by initiative or by law enacted through their legislatures, can join that commission once it's in existence. And that's what we will have.
And the constitutional lawyers say this passes muster. Yeah,
that's for sure. In fact, it's a takeoff on what we had historically. You remember the terminology, a runaway grand jury. Well, what had happened was before the government covered its backside by changing the law, people could form a grand jury and go ahead and investigate. Well, they were investigating the criminality of government, and so this was so threatening that the law was changed.
No, I understand. That's why they've turned juries and grand juries into kept creatures of the prosecution. Well, Senator Gravel, we're definitely going to have to get you back up in the near future. This initiative is, I guess, being launched right now. The site's up. It looks great, and if folks want to find out more or feel that you think this is a good initiative to get involved with, to donate, 911cc.org and or MikeGravel.us. You'll find links there. Senator, have a great weekend, and thanks for all your great work investigating the tragic events of 9/11.
Thank you, Alex, for having us on.
You bet. Stay with us. News Blitz coming up. We're always trying to think of new ways to get the word out. And the guys back in the shipping department had the idea of sunscreens for your cars. And this baby's $19.95. And it's got Infowars.com in big letters. It says, because there's a war on for your mind. If you want to turn your car into a big advertisement for truth and liberty, remember how the globalists are trying to censor Infowars.com. Remember how they are constantly trying to block us. YouTube trying to say that we're racist against Obama, trying to ban our channel, then having to admit it wasn't true and remove the strikes against our account. They're scared of this information. At Bilderberg, they're scared of Ron Paul. They're scared of the Liberty Movement. They're scared of what we specifically are doing. So every time you get the website URL, Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com out, it turns a knife in the kidney of the New World Order. Also, I'm going to hold this special through the weekend, and that's all I can hold it through because we're running out of Police State 4, the rise of FEMA. And so we'll hold the special throughout the weekend. Obama Deception, Terror Storm, Endgame, Police State 4, the rise of FEMA, Fall of the Republic, and Mark Dice's excellent new premiere book, free. Big Brother, the Orwellian Nightmare, come true, absolutely free on top of it. So 5 films with the extended extras. Get them out to everybody you know, $29.95, and a free, thick, very informative book paralleling the Orwellian similarities with the fictitious book Big Brother, the fictitious book 1984, with how it's now come true today, how fiction has now become fact, and the Orwellian nightmare come true, Big Brother, available at Infowars.com separately. We also have a deal to get the book for $9.95 through the weekend with free shipping if you choose just to get the book alone, or get it free when you order the 5 DVDs, Infowars.com. Or, again, you can also see all the films in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv, where we also stream the radio show in video, living color. Let me give the phone number out so we can take calls coming up a little bit later in the hour, and then throughout the third hour with our weekly Friday visit with Bob Chapman. I can't wait to bring up the whole Dominique Strauss-Kahn situation with him. Before I get into some of the other news, let me just hit that right now. Strauss-Kahn case seen as near collapse. And when this first happened, I said, look, Kahn's a bad guy for his policies, world government, world carbon taxes, globalist, of that, corrupt, parasitical, globalist ruling class. But I went on and said, you can get away with murder in France, in their city like Paris or New York in the U.S. UN diplomats get caught with sex slaves chained up, murdering people. Bill Clinton raping women one after the other and settling with them. First thing, it wasn't true that he rapes them and bites them, and he's protected. So why are they normally protected over and over again? But then the head of the IMF, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, started to agree that maybe they shouldn't bankrupt all the countries. Maybe they were going too fast. Maybe let's not break up the euro yet. And that he was going to run against Sarkozy. He was above him in all the polls, on average about 10 points, set to run next year in the next election in France. Sarkozy, a total globalist puppet. And then Khan leaves, checks out, goes and eats, hangs out with family in New York that we're visiting, gets on a plane, and they grab him off the plane and say he was running and things. Turned out that wasn't true. But the biggest piece of evidence is this. It's that the chief political strategist for Sarkozy, his Karl Rove, his David Gergen, admitted in the Le Figaro, BBC, he said, they called and said, you Twittered more than 30 minutes before he was even arrested. You Twittered that he had raped a woman or tried to rape a woman and was going to be or had been arrested. How did you know that? And then we turned out one of Sarkozy's aides did it as well. 2 different Twitters to the media alerting them to make sure the story was spun the way they wanted. And they said, well, we had spies in the hotel watching him. I mean, oh, wow. You knew this supposedly happened because you had spies following him. Oh, you're not setting him up. You just have spies following him. Well, now the New York Times is reporting Strauss-Kahn case seen as near collapse. And this is the New York Times. The sexual assault case against Dominique Strauss-Kahn is on the verge of collapse as investigators have uncovered major holes in the credibility of the housekeeper who charged that he attacked her in the Manhattan hotel suite in May, according to 2 well-placed law enforcement officials. This is a guy who was staying in a $4,000 a night hotel room. This is a guy who flies around on private jets everywhere, where French Airways keeps a seat open for him on every flight to and from France on all their major planes, all their major flights. There's a seat just for Dominique Strauss-Kahn, DSK, and he can have any women he wants. He reportedly did with a French reporter, 8 years ago, say, oh, you're so beautiful, and start, saying, I want you, like Pepe Le Pew, and grabbing at her, which is terrible. Unless you're a TSA agent, then it's security. So the issue here is whether he did it or not. Now, first it was rape, then it was he grabbed on her. Well, Al Gore, the woman reportedly saved the DNA. They're not interested in that. She described him like a sex-crazed poodle. And then when she wouldn't have the relations, he just ran over like a dog. I don't want to get into what dogs do, but you know what they do. That's why she had the DNA on her, and just pinned her and just basically, well, you know what people do, like a dog. Quote, crazed sex poodle. And you notice that got swept under the rug. So whether he did it or not, why have they decided to go after him when normally Bill Clinton can bite women? That's how he dominates them. He bites their lips, bites their nose. That's his specialty. Really hard, bleeding, like a wild animal, kind of like you're in a bear trap. Grabs your nose and then does what he does. I mean, that's what Ted Bundy would do as well. Very, very nice people. So I asked the question of why is this happening? Why is this going on? Now, continuing here. With this article, although forensic test found unambiguous evidence of sexual encounter between Mr. Strauss-Kahn and French politician and the woman, prosecutors now do not believe much of what the accuser has told them about the circumstances or about himself. Or did he really do it, and now they just did this to get him out of the IMF job and kind of discredit him, and now they're going to drop it. I mean, we don't know. The point is there's all sorts of foul play going on here. Continuing here, since her initial allegation on May 14th, the accuser has repeatedly lied, one of the law enforcement officials said. By the way, the toll-free number to join us to talk about any of these issues I've raised so far today is 1-800-259-9231, 1-800-259-9231. We'll get you up and on the air. I said we're going to take calls, and I forget to give the number out. 800-259-9231. We'll get you here on the transmission today. Continuing, senior prosecutors met with lawyers from Strauss-Kahn on Thursday and provided details about their findings and the parties are discussing whether to dismiss the felony